Michael Fox will teach Global Lens, the international documentary. And Michael, we're so glad to have you back. This fall term has been an amazing Global Lens. And so this will be round 2. Michael.
Susan, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. For those who don't know, I've been a longtime freelance film journalist and critic. And I worked as an extra in those early days, not so much for research because I needed the money. I was a little underemployed back in the early days. So Global Lens, which we've offered at OLLI for many, many years, is essentially an annual survey of international documentaries. That is, films made by non-American filmmakers working outside the United States, very often working in their own countries, but occasionally working elsewhere. And I just said annual, but in the Zoom era, well, we're just wrapping up the fall class, and we'll do it again in the winter. And I shouldn't say again, because it will be all new films, all different films. Every film class I do are all different films. We don't repeat films. So there are many advantages to a film class in the Zoom era. And here's how this class works. So each week I will send a letter out to you that will tell you where to find the film. And generally it's going to be free, streaming for free on Canopy, Hoopla, or Amazon Prime, possibly Netflix, or streaming for a small rental fee from Amazon Prime. And in that letter, I'm also going to include links to reviews, interviews with the filmmaker, perhaps dense academic essays, if they exist, which I encourage you to read after you've seen the film. And among the advantages is that we're going to be looking at feature-length films. So when we meet in person in a classroom setting over the years, it's always been a 1-hour film followed by a conversation. And here, because you're watching the films on your own, I can schedule feature-length documentaries. So you'll watch the film on your own and then do the readings. And then when we convene in class, I'll talk about the film for a certain amount of time and then open it up for discussion. The first thing I should tell you, if you've never taken this class with me, is that it is not a current events class. So we are not going to have a conversation every week about corruption in post-communist Eastern Europe or refugees in Italy. The conversation is going to be driven by the filmmaking. And when I curate the class, when I choose the films, I'm going for a range of styles, a range of approaches, and of course, a range of countries. I hasten to add that finally in the Zoom era, all the students over the years who have said, you have to show such depressing films, finally their voices have gotten through to me in the Zoom era. And so I make an effort to find films that are not depressing. They're not, so we move slightly away from what we might call problem films or social issue films. And that's not to say they are not films of gravitas and serious films. They're just not grim. How about that? I'm studiously avoiding grim. So let me throw you a couple titles that may make it into the class. And I say may make it into because films, the way the streaming world works now is that films are licensed and they're licensed for a period of time. So films come and go. And I have a long list of documentaries in recent years that premiered at major festivals, won awards, maybe even got US distribution, but are not available as we speak today to be streamed even for $3.99 on Amazon. But perhaps between now and when the class begins, they will become available. So some of the films on my list that, as we speak today, are available are a film from Ireland from a couple of years ago called School Life, which is about 2 teachers who have spent their entire lengthy careers teaching at the only boarding school in Ireland for primary age students. And now they are reaching the end of their career. So they're hitting a transition point. There's a film from Romania that you might have heard of last year called Collective, which is about a group of newspaper and online journalists who uncover an enormous corruption scandal in the national healthcare system. So it's sort of a unfolding drama. There's a Canadian biography or portrait of Gordon Lightfoot, which is probably not going to be grim at all. So these are some of the candidates, and I have some other films that you would never have heard of because they've not played the US at all, but have been acclaimed at every festival they played that I would love to show. So the bottom line is we're going to have 8 new or recent films that we've never shown in a class before. You'll watch them outside of class twice if you are so motivated. I have students who watch the films, do the readings, watch the films again. I'm inspired by that, as you can imagine. And then we convene and talk about the film. So again, this is Global Lens is a survey, if you will, of the best, if I could be so arrogant as to say, the best of the current contemporary international documentary scene. Thank you.
Michael, thank you.